Hello, you guys. I am Brittany Wright, and I am one of the nutrition providers and one of the fitness experts here at Vitality Health Matrix. We are going to talk today and continue with our theme of debunking some myths that you may be hearing in the fitness, wellness, weight loss, hormonal balance space. So, all through the month of March, you will hear us debunking some myths about supplements, about weight loss, about the scale, about fitness, about muscle and fat, and all the things. So it's not just my videos that you can check out, but you can check out some videos from the other amazing providers here to help you have a professional and personal experience being taught to you so that you can make the best decisions for your body moving forward. So, in true fashion, I am going to share a PowerPoint. I just feel best and feel like I give a better share when I work from a PowerPoint. So, that's how we're going to go today. We are going to talk about 5 myths to let go of. All right, here we go. 5 myths to let go of so that you can fully embrace your fitness routine, your weight loss journey, or even your body compositions journey if you are no longer in a space where you're wanting to lose weight, but you're wanting to still see some change to your body. So, one of the first ones I wanted to debunk was crunches are the best way to get abs. That is not true. You don't have to do 100 crunches to see abs. Honestly, abs are made in the kitchen. You've probably heard it. But under all that hard work, if we don't have our nutrition in place, we're never going to see our abs. So, first and foremost, make sure you have a good nutrition plan in check, making sure it's fueling you and helping you feel your best self. But crunches have a time and a place, but they're not the best way or the only way to see your abs. We need to be able to work our abdominal muscles from all different directions, from right to left, front to back. And I also think as we get older, especially if we're in perimenopause or menopause, our risk of injury because our estrogen is coming down goes up, that we need to be able to not just go for six-pack abs, but we need to build a strong core. We will talk about this more on another day, another time, but our core needs to be solid. It's what holds us up. It's what helps us stay sturdy when we're holding groceries in both hands, when we're holding our kids, when we are picking things in and out of the car, or we're moving bags around, or if you're at work. Our core is what holds us all together. So instead of just focusing on a core appearance, focus on your core strength. And to do that, instead of doing crunches in your traditional way, I would advise you to do some mountain climbers where you're on your hands and knees and you come into a plank, and you can bring your knees to your chest, you can bring your knees to your elbow. You can make it a full-on workout and go as fast as you can and make it a little bit of a cardio workout at the same time. You can go slow and steady and really get that core burn across your abdomen in different directions. You can do a plank, holding yourself up you could do your hands down and on your toes. You could go hands up and on your knees. You could go down to your elbows. You could go down to elbows and knees. There's so many ways to progress the plank and really build your core strength up that has nothing to do with a crunch. You could do leg drops. I love laying on my back, pulling my belly button into the back of the mat. Imagine that you're sucking that in and engaging that pelvic floor. That's why that tip is so key. It's not just a fun little personal trainer tip. We want to pull in those low pelvic floor muscles. And then once we're in that position, kind of a halfway tabletop, we can drop our legs down and pull our legs back up at their 90 degrees and 90 degrees. And that is going to work your pelvic floor. When our pelvic floor is nice and strong, we have a stronger core. We reduce our low back pain and even some other issues that can come along in our pelvic floor that cause pain or injury or discomfort. You could do a bird dog. You're lying on your back, your arms are up, your legs are at 90-90. And as you drop one arm back, you drop one leg back. And that will also work your core and stability to help you with balance, but also work those deep pelvic floor muscles. Leg lifts, so laying in an extended leg out position and lifting them up to be parallel to your hips and then back down. Again, working your pelvic floor, working your body as a whole to engage your core muscles in there. And then glute bridges are a great one. These have nothing to do with your like an ab, like a crunch. But when you do this, when you engage your glute bridge, you set your core up for a better strength, a better stability, better balance. And as you build that strength, you actually perform better during your total body exercises or your leg day exercises. And that when you're performing those movements precisely and in proper form with proper strength, you will actually get some abs just by performing these total body exercises and working your core in all of these different ways. Cardio is the only way to burn fat. Cardio is a great way to burn a lot of calories in a short amount of time. So when I'm thinking cardio, I'm thinking I was on the elliptical, I did the bike, maybe even doing like a circuit to weights, where you're burning, 300 calories in 30 minutes. Excuse me. You're not going to do that necessarily with a weight training workout, right? You're going to burn more calories during cardio in a short amount of time. But to burn fat throughout the day, we need muscle. So we need to strength train. So it's not the only way to burn fat. It's a great way to burn a lot of calories. And if that's your goal, then yes, cardio is the way to go. But if your goal is to burn fat and to burn more calories throughout the whole entire day, you want to start lifting the weights, or you can make weights a part of your cardio circuit. Okay. And what I mean by that is maybe we're doing a squat and then we do a squat jump. Squat jump is resistance training, but it's also cardio because we're moving fast. Or like the mountain climbers, which I was saying, turning those into a cardio move by moving through the movement a little bit faster. So instead of thinking, I only have 30 minutes, I'm going to hop on the treadmill to burn as many calories as I can you work through your sets a little bit quicker? Because cardiovascular health is important. And so, can we take, instead of having 60 minutes of rest or 60 seconds of rest, can we have 30 seconds of rest or 20 seconds of rest and work through the sets quicker? Can you add cardio into your strength training routine like I just mentioned? Can you add walks or sprints? Excuse me, walks or sprints in a few times a week. And so there's a designated place for that cardio that when we do, there's some research that shows that women can do HIIT. Like we want to do cardio, but we need to be strategic in when we're doing it. What we don't want to be doing is cardio only, HIIT only at 5 a.m. on an empty stomach when we haven't eaten anything in 12 plus hours and we're not prioritizing a meal afterward. But we can work in HIIT or cardio in a great way throughout the day, scheduled in for a workout, short and sweet and purposeful. That is the kind of cardio that we want to get done and that can serve our body well. You need protein shakes to build muscle. Protein is essential for building muscle, but protein shakes are meant to be a supplement and you do not have to have them. I cannot tell you how many women tell me, I don't like protein shakes. I haven't found one I liked, or I just don't want to do that. I don't know what's happening. I think I'm like so excited and talking so fast, I'm not getting oxygen to my brain. I feel great. Like my energy feels wonderful. But protein is essential for building your muscle. So we do need it. It's more important to hit your daily protein goal than to say I had a protein shake because it doesn't do much to have a protein shake right after your workout if you're skipping the rest of your meals. So I was under this impression too. Like I had to break some limiting beliefs through my day as well. And one of those things was I didn't have to have a protein shake. I just needed protein. Like I just needed to make sure that I was getting enough protein through my day than just prioritizing, oh, I have a protein shake. Like that sounds awesome. And there is a time and a place, but it doesn't have to be a protein shake. Honestly, I would rather have you get your protein from whole food sources than relying on a protein shake to get all your protein in. There's a time and a place when life is busy and our option is a protein shake or skip a meal and not eat for 4+ hours. Then I want you to grab a protein shake. If we're at like 60 grams of protein for the day and we've eaten and animal protein or whatever doesn't sound great and we need more, I want you to grab a protein shake. But if we can get our protein and meet our protein goal before we add in a protein shake, then that's what I want you to do. I would love for you to see how you can hit your protein goal overall for the day without having to rely on a protein shake. You don't need to have it. So if you don't love them and you can't find one you love, that's fine. Instead of a post-workout protein shake, you can try a 20 grams of Greek yogurt. You could have 2 hard-boiled eggs, or you could have cooked eggs and add in egg whites. Goodness gracious. You can add in egg whites to help get that protein content even more. You could have a chicken or a turkey sandwich. You could have a meat stick. You could have a lunch. Let's say you worked out at 10:30 to 11:15 or something like that. And you're like, oh, it's lunchtime. You could eat lunch. And that counts, right? It doesn't have to be both. You don't have to have a protein shake to build muscle. You just need to be making sure that you are eating at least 90 grams. That is like if you're trying to build muscle, that is the least amount of protein that you want to get in a day. Okay. To maintain the muscle that you have is 70 grams. So it's incredibly, incredibly important. But here, what I'm not saying, I'm not saying that don't use a protein shake. I'm just saying you don't have to have a protein shake to build muscle. You can build muscle by prioritizing whole food options that your body loves, that maybe you would prefer, or you already like get 100 to 110 grams of protein just by eating your whole foods. You don't have to add in a protein shake if you don't want to. You can still have the capability to build muscle. Now, I will say if you're in a different phase and you are trying to really put on some muscle, then we really need to talk about those protein goals because they're going to be higher than 100 to 110 grams of protein. But for the everyday average woman, especially if you're just starting out, just focus on increasing your protein as you go. And I guarantee you're not going to overeat protein at this stage in your life. Okay. So just keep that in mind too. For reference, I average probably about 130 to 140 grams of protein a day, but it has taken me 4.5 months to get to that point because when I first started tracking my protein again, I was more like sitting at 110. Okay. So I had to slowly adjust and get my protein back up because I'm in a different stage. I have different goals right now, but I just wanted to share that because if you're like, I'm at 70, how do I get to 110? It's going to take some time. Okay. So just give yourself that grace, give yourself that time to grow and find those protein sources that fuel you, that you look forward to, and that you love. Okay. I really love egg whites and they are really hard to find right now. So that is a big bummer. Okay, you should stretch before your workout. You don't need to stretch, but you do need to warm up. What I don't want you to do before you go lift or before you go run, whatever, is static stretching. Static stretching is where we hold the pose. That's what we kind of learned all in elementary school, where we like spread our legs and we reach and touch our toe. This side, hold for 30. Reach, touch the other side, hold for 30. What happens is that's a cold muscle, right? So now we're trying to have this muscle that hasn't moved. Maybe we just woke up or we've sat in the car. It's a cold muscle, hasn't been working. Now we're like stretching it. So think of a rubber band that you pull out of the drawer and it's never been used, like a brand new rubber band. And you try and put it all the way around this huge stack of papers, that probably breaks, right? Now, if you take in your office drawer, you find a rubber band you've had in there for like 3 months, it's been used, it's been warmed up, it's been prepped, it's been primed, it's gone around a couple bundles of paper, it's worked its way up to that point. It goes around that big stack of papers easy breezy because it's warmed up. It's been moved, it's already been elongated, and now it can stretch. So you do want to warm up your muscles, but we want to do them in a more of a dynamic movement. Okay. So instead of sitting down and reaching and touching your toes, reaching and touching your toes, try an inchworm where you're standing up in a position, you reach down, touch your toes, you walk out, you walk back in, you walk out, you walk back in. You can do pull throughs with a band. So instead of holding your arm like this is fine where we're moving, we're not holding, we're just kind of warming up. And then as we get warmer, we can pull a little bit further. But pull throughs are with a band, and you pull here and you go forward and you pull back and you're rotating and warming up that joint. You're getting some fluid moving in that joint so that it can perform your shoulder presses better or your lateral raises better. Okay. I have written down here hip drops, where you are going to sit with your feet up, like kind of right out in front of you. Like you can see my legs right here. You sit like this, and you're gonna just drop them left and drop them right, and you're gonna dynamically move those hips around so that we're getting them warm. And then you go into your squat, and your hips are warm. Your hips are mobile. Okay. Thread the needle is a great one if you're really tight in your thoracic spine up here. You go kind of go like this, and then you reach under, and then you come up and you reach under, and you come up again, working that joint, but we're also working through our thoracic space here where it's moving, but we're not like forcing it to hold and stretch. Bird dog, which I talked about earlier. Dead bug is another one. Oh, I flip that around. Bird dog is when you're on your hands or knees and one leg, one arm out at a time. Dead bug is when you're facing up, you're laying on your back, you're in a tabletop position, like a reverse tabletop, and you drop one leg and drop one arm. That warms up your core. That warms up your hip joint. That warms up your shoulder joint. Plank walkout, you walk out, hold the plank, walk back in. Cat cow, we're all familiar. You can even do it here at your desk. You push out, you come in, you push out, and you're warming up that thoracic spine. When you go through those moments, your body is working, your muscles, your core, your biceps, your quads, your hamstrings, they're working. And then you do your workout and then you stretch. We want to stretch the warmed up muscle to avoid injury, to avoid snapping, to avoid pulling when it's not quite ready to be pulled yet. Okay. I would also say, like, if you're struggling with this, you can just go to like YouTube and do like a dynamic warm up and Google or YouTube that should come up, or a mobility warm up that has a lot of what I just talked about in there to help you walk through that. Um, so yeah, we don't necessarily need to stretch how we think of stretching. I want you to do a dynamic stretching where we're warming up our body, and getting those muscles moved. The other thing that you could do if you're kind of stuck on what to do, if you're doing a weighted exercise routine that day, you can plug in, like go do what you're gonna do, and then let's say your first three circuits are like a squat, a push-up, and a lunge. I'm just thinking. Do all those without weights. That's your warm up. Okay. And then jump in, add weights, and that's your first set. Okay. So if you're stuck on like what to do, check out your first 3 to 4 movements, do them without weight, and use that like 2 or 3 times to go through and get your body warmed up and prepped and primed and mobile. Then you can join in. The scale is the best measure of progress. This is false. The scale is only part of what could be going on in your journey. Factors like muscle gain, water retention, hormonal fluctuations, how well you slept the night before. Did you have water? Are you dehydrated? Did you have a really awesome heavy workout the day before and you have lactic acid built up and your body is sore? That is telling a part of the story. Okay. So the scale gives a glimpse. The scale helps us with a lot of things, but it is not the end all be all, especially day to day. What I want you to pay more attention to when it comes to the scale is week to week, what are we seeing? Month to month, what are we seeing? And if we're still like, oh, it moves like a pound, then I want you to focus on these things. How are your clothes fitting? If your clothes are fitting better, but the scale is moving, like if my when I was going through like my weight loss journeys after the kids, like if my clothes fit, I was fine. The scale doesn't bother me as long as my clothes were fitting better, right? Like I know I'm in a season right now of a little wonkiness, and my goal right now is just to have my clothes fit better than they have been. I don't care if the scale stays what it is, but I know that I have some inflammation and some extra going on that I would love for my clothes to feel better and fit better, right? And I know what to do, and so I go do those things, but the scale is not telling the whole story. Another way, like how are your rings, right? How are your rings feeling? I know that that is like my number one indicator that I am on the right path. And just in the last 4 days, I'm like, oh, I can get this thing on and off so much easier. Um, just by rehoning in on those home-based behaviors. Okay. How's your energy? I just told you guys, I feel great. I don't know why I'm yawning. Like my energy feels wonderful. How have you lost inches? Do you notice like your waist is smaller, your legs are leaner, your arms are leaner? Do you notice when you look in the mirror, your face looks less puffy? I always like being in this industry as long as I have, I can tell when someone's lost weight just by their face, just from inflammation. We hold so much inflammation in our face, and those puffy cheeks go away, and we see progress. Are you sleeping better? Do you fall asleep better? Do you stay asleep during the night better? Are you showing up in your workouts stronger? Okay. All those things often come first, and then sometimes the scale follows behind. Sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on where you're at in your journey. But 9 times out of 10, if we're experiencing those things that I just talked about first, eventually the scale will result in what we, a loss. How big that loss is, I don't know. But the scale is usually the last to follow. So it's not the best measurement of your progress. I really want you to pay attention to these other things. Stay close to your team. If you're a client here and you're staying close to the team, like how are your clothes fitting? How are your energy? Are you hungrier? That's a good sign your metabolism is moving and grooving. Those are things that are signs internally are going well, and the scale will follow when it's ready. That is the last one. So those were the 5. We had, we'll go back into present. Oh, whoop. So our first one was crunches are the best way to get abs. And then we talked about how cardio is not the only way to burn fat. We talked about how you don't need protein shakes to build muscle, but you do have to hit a protein goal. And we talked about how you don't have to stretch before a workout, but we should get some dynamic mobility and a good warm up in. And then we talked about how the scale is not the best measure of progress and that there's other ways to see how you're doing. And so other things just to talk about, because as a company, we are focusing on the detox this week. And so I just wanted to take a moment and address fitness on the detox. It is best utilized during the detox to take the component of exercise, at least hard, heavy workouts, out while you do the detox because we're not eating a ton of calories. We have taken carbohydrates out, so our recovery could be a little wonky. We might not have the full energy, but I think the thing that is the biggest deal breaker is that we also want to take our body out of as much stress as possible during this detox. And one thing we can control with stress is how much stress are we putting on it when we go into the gym and work out for 45 minutes or a half an hour. And oftentimes it's not the actual workout itself, but oh my gosh, I only have a half an hour to get this workout in. And so now my level goes up because now I have to change my clothes, get a snack, get through my workout, rush to get presentable so I can rush either on a work meeting or rush to get the kid. And so it's not just that workout that our stress level is raised, it's about a half an hour before and a half an hour after that we're experiencing a higher state of stress because we're trying to get this workout condensed into this workout done in a condensed amount of time. So if you can remove that workout for 10 days and allow yourself to go through the day a little bit less stressful and with a little bit more ease, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. You can do some good yoga. You can do some light walks. You could do a Pilates or a bar workout. But I would say it's not so much the workout itself, but how you are framing it when you approach the workout. If every time you go to work out, it is a high state of stress of like, I gotta get this done, I gotta get this done, you're undoing all the benefit of the workout. And I had to do this too. I had to have a come to Jesus meeting with my coach and like walk through this and work through it. And now I'm at the place that I can approach it so much better. Okay. I'm not rushing into my workouts and I'm not approaching them in a stressed state. I have now been able to schedule them accordingly to my schedule and get them done and change things when I need to. But for the 10-day detox, I would highly encourage you to give your body this beautiful break from working in one more thing that needs to get worked in and allow your body to rest, recover, and do the hard work of detoxing so that you can find some a better rhythm that serves your body. And then as you come out of the detox, you can add in your exercise, and it's one more thing that you get to pinpoint to see how your body responds. And maybe it's, oh my gosh, like I added in my workouts and the next day I was really bloated, I was really puffy. Or I did my workouts and I was really sore. Or I did my workout today and I couldn't sleep. Or I had high cravings and I didn't realize that. Fun fact, but you didn't know that your exercise can be a trigger for your cravings. So those kinds of things can come into light. And that is what we really want to hone in on the detox is how much can we learn about our body? And so by removing something, by removing one more variable, we can learn a lot about our body as we add that back in and as we take it out. So I would encourage you to go on walks, to try yoga, to try some of these dynamic stretches that I just mentioned on here. And then after the 10 days, decide, am I feeling better without these for a moment and keep them out? Or do I feel about that? Like I feel better, but I do want to add these in and then pay attention to how your body feels as you add them in. So that is what I have for you today. I am so grateful that you hopped on to listen. If you listen to the recording and you have questions, please reach out. We are there for you. Otherwise, we will see you next time.